Hey everyone, Jason here, Community Manager for the first Descendant. For the past week, we've been closely watching all of your amazing reactions to the new Descendant, Daya. From the various builds to unique playstyles, watching the community has been an absolute joy for the team. So what's the most fun way to use Daya? It's probably a question on everyone's mind. That's why we prepared something special. Today, we're going to introduce some builds that will let everyone enjoy Daya. Let's jump right in. As you can see, Daya is a chill attribute descendant, known for her icy cold expression and a look as sharp and solid as ice itself. But what makes her fascinating is that her skills are fueled by a resource called Delight. The coldest of characters, overwhelming her foes by gathering a passionate emotion like delight. It's beautifully ironic, and what makes her so captivating. Let's do a quick rundown of Daya's skill set, shall we? First up is her primary damage skill, Glacial Clash. It's a versatile attack that marks enemies with a snowflake for a follow-up explosion. Next up, Ice Wall. This is her core survival and buffing skill, instantly boosting her defense and critical hit damage the moment you use it. And here's the main key for Daya, Avalanche. It groups up enemies, setting them up for a devastating frost explosion when combined with Glacial Clash. Finally, her ultimate, Frost Storm. It fires a giant ice spear that pierces everything in its path. So what kind of builds should we use to combine these skills, maximize Daya's power, and have the most fun playing her? Today, I'll be introducing two different builds that can be used for Daya. Alright, the first build is what I'm calling the Full Bloom Delight build. And I came up with the name myself. This build is centered around Daya's Transcendent module, Blooming Ecstasy, and specializes in making your solo missions much easier and more enjoyable. I'll be demonstrating this build while playing as Daya in the new exposed underwater base infiltration operation. For my weapon, I went with the Last Dagger, Shadow, and Deus Ex Manus. First, let's look at the core module for this build, Blooming Ecstasy. When you equip this, your main damage skill, Glacial Clash, transforms into Snowflake Clash, which now pulls enemies in. The ultimate skill, Frost Storm, becomes Frost Bloom, a powerful wide area explosive skill. This gives you crowd control, making it so much easier to handle large groups of enemies all by yourself. Okay, let's take a look at the module setup on the screen. The key to this build is stacking as much HP as possible. Daya's skill critical hit chance increases in proportion to her max HP, so you'll want to push her health to the limit with modules like Overwhelming HP, Stim Accelerant, and Increased HP. This massive health pool creates an incredible synergy with the Steel Vanguard module. Simply by hitting enemies with Snowflake Clash, players can constantly deal bonus AoE damage based on Daya's max HP. Daya essentially becomes a bruiser who can dive right into the enemy lines and keep dishing out damage while staying alive. On top of that, modules like Nimble Fingers and MP Conversion reduce skill cooldowns, allowing players to use their core combo more often. Then, with focus on chill and skill concentration, players can maximize the power and critical hit damage of Frost skills. To sum it up, the Full Bloom Delight build is your go-to for solo play. You crank your HP to the max for both survivability and critical hit chance. With that, we can dominate the field using the upgraded Snowflake Clash and Frost Bloom more often to clear out waves of enemies. Alright, the second Daya build I'm introducing is the Brand Breaker build. I came up with this name myself as well. If the first build was specialized for handling large groups of enemies, this one is a dedicated boss killer build, focusing everything on taking down a single powerful target. For this build, I'll be demonstrating it in the Infernal Walker Void Intercept battle. The weapon loadout is the same as the previous build. The main points of this build are the Descendant model Chill Brand and the trigger model Icebreaker. First, let's take a look at Chill Brand. This module applies a special Chill Brand mark every time players hit an enemy with a skill, and it deals extra damage based on the number of stacks. And then there's Glacial Wedge, a powerful sniping skill that detonates all those marks at once. The longer you charge it, the more insane damage you can pour into a single target. Now, we add the Icebreaker trigger module to the mix. When attacking an enemy with Frostbite, it will build up Icebreaker stacks. Then, there will be continuous explosive damage popping off based on the number of stacks. This build also stacks as much HP as possible with modules like Overwhelming HP and Stim Accelerant. As I said, Dia's skill critical hit chance scales with her max HP, so it's an essential choice for landing that one devastating blow on the boss. Boost Dia's base power of skills and critical hit damage with modules like Focus on Chill, Skill Concentration, and Frontlines. The Dangerous Ambush module, in particular, also shines in party play, as it amps up your skill power when you attack an enemy that's focused on one of your teammates instead of you. To put it simply, the Brand Breaker build is a boss killing specialist. Players can stack up damage over time with Chill Brand and Icebreaker, and then cash it all in for one massive devastating hit. So, how was our video on Dia's builds and gameplay? Just remember, the builds I shared are definitely not the right answer. My hope is that they just serve as a guide, something to make you go, oh, so that's another cool way I can play Dia. And don't stop here. This weekend is the perfect timing to come over to the first Descendant and enjoy Dia for yourself and create your own unique builds. Feel free to share all your awesome builds on our official community. A build can always be reborn in your hands. With that said, I'll see everyone on our next video. Thanks for watching.